Welcome, Mage. I'm Rhino,
And I'm Papa Mage,
and
and
this
this is
is the
the Extreme
Extreme
Casual
Casual
MTG
MTG
podcast.
Podcast.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about gratefulness. These are things that we are grateful for within the Magic community, within Magic all around. We have 7 stories that we're going to be talking about. Gratefulness. They're not overly long stories, but they are ones that constantly come to our mind whenever we think about the community and what we're grateful for in this community. And I'm going to start off, and we're going to do these in chronological order. So the first one is actually before Rhino was born. And it's going to sound really, really silly. I am very grateful for people who threw away dual lands. Okay, let's roll back to 1993. 1993, there was this new card game out called Magic the Gathering. It was unusual, it was different. It I People didn't know how it worked. We didn't have the internet quite the way that we do now. So there wasn't a lot of discussion about it. So, you know, people would get these cards and they would look at the dual lands and they thought they were junk. Nobody, at least where I was doing dual color decks. Everybody was doing monocolored decks. They couldn't think dual color. I mean, really, this was the very first time Magic was out, so people weren't thinking that way. So a lot of times, those dual lands were thrown away. People would get upset. Sometimes they would leave them behind. They were easy to trade for. People, oh, yeah, you want this piece of junk? Here, take this tundra, take this plateau. And yeah, I need a forest, because the regular lands were hard to come by. Yeah, people needed islands or swamps. So I was very grateful for those people that were throwing away dual lands, because I've got a pile of dual lands that I've had for many, many years. And we didn't really play with them until we started doing Commander a number of years back. So they've basically been sitting on the shelf. I wouldn't say collecting dust, because they were in a little plastic container. But I have a pile of dual lands, and we're grateful for that because we don't have to pay for dual lands for Commander decks now. Uh, so,
Yay!
let's fast forward to Rhino's birth, and then let's go 8 more years later. So, 2014. Now, Rhino has,
Uh, a
you have dyslexia.
yeah, I am dyslexic.
So even though I've got notes written right here, he has a hard time reading those notes because he can't really process them quite right.
Yeah, my brain doesn't accept it.
Yeah, his brain doesn't accept handwriting in many cases, but Rhino knows how to read,
Oh yes, I do.
and he knew how to read even at the age of 7, 8 in this time frame. And so I know we've said this story a number of times.
So we're gonna say it again. um, I was playing another card game. You might have heard of it. It's called Pokemon. Um, and I,
He didn't really read those cards either.
uh,
He memorized them.
yeah, I memorized what the cards do. Uh, so I just looked at the picture and be like, oh, that's Pikachu, and
And it does this, and this is a trainer and does that. Well, he was at a game shop and he was looking for more Pokemon cards, and he ran across
uh,
a Magic card.
yeah, that's a weird Pokemon.
But
Storm Tide Leviathan.
so he picked it up and he could read that font. So the main font that Wizards uses, the Balearin font, is named after Jace Balearin, and that is the font that's on the titles of the cards and things like that. He could easily read those, and so we're thankful for. I don't know if that was insight on their part or if it was an accident, but it was something that really triggered in his mind, and it didn't scramble the letters. And even the Times New Roman that they use, for the most part, he can read that because of the spacing, the kerning, whatever, the way that it's put down on the page, he can understand that. So,
Yeah,
uh,
and it was basically a miracle.
well, yeah, it was. And so that's really what started us into the magic community. And so we've told you before about starting a YouTube channel because Rhino wanted to learn how to play better, and
And
we started and we'd been going for a little bit, and I think this was around 2016. We went to GP in Charlotte, North Carolina.
and everybody, well, not everybody, uh,
Well, and let's set the stage a little bit more here. Okay, it's 2016, GP Charlotte. It was a pretty big convention, and nowhere near anything like GP Vegas. We'll get to that in a bit. But this was a point where Rhino had 62 subscribers, and I remember that quite well. And we had printed out these little business cards that he was passing out to people. And he passed one out to someone at lunch, and it was an
uh,
employee.
and it was an employee of Watsy, Wizards of the Coast, uh, and uh,
They were so amazed that this young kid of 10 years old was doing a YouTube channel, and they wanted to contact us and send him some gift or some stuff or whatever. And so yeah, we were very grateful for that chance to do that interaction. We didn't know that they were a Wizards employee.
I mean,
Uh,
I just look at them as people.
and but there was something else that happened at this GP, and this was the final day, and we were leaving that day, and someone said, "Hey, young Mage." Now remember, this is 62 subscribers, and somebody recognized him, uh, and it just blew us away. It was
Blew
his,
me away
yeah,
too.
and he didn't know how to react to that.
I was like,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're grateful for that initial interaction. Wish I knew who it was, but we were stunned, and we chatted with them a little bit, and soon thereafter, we ended up uh, going on to yeah, our fourth story, which is the interaction with Wizards of the Coast. And
and uh, we got recognized by them. Uh,
well, they did send you some stuff, and we thought
and
that was great and all. And then, Wizards of the Coast has continued to, I don't want to say support Rhino because it's not support, it is recognition. It really is just recognition. Yeah, sometimes they'll send the gifts, and we love getting the booster boxes and opening those up and giving away commander decks that we get and packs and things that they send us. But it really does come down to it's nice to be treated like a real content creator. Um,
yes,
and very recently, uh,
we got
their
their
holiday
on the
card,
card.
which is,
Last minute chopping.
yeah, we got the nice card here, and it's really cool. And these are things that we keep because it reminds us of how grateful we are that they recognize the positive influence that Rhino has on the community. So let's see. Our our next story is well, I don't remember. Oh, 2017. Yeah, it's 2017, and
Uh,
GP Vegas is coming up. A lot of people are asking, "Hey, is Rhino going to be there?" And we go, "We don't have the money to come. Let's do a Kickstarter." So we did a Kickstarter. I think we did it in April or something like that to try to get the money to come out and interview new and young players. Uh,
and we got the money from that Kickstarter. Um, and um, it shot through the roof.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, yeah. I mean, we didn't get too much more than what we needed, but we were amazed that we got what we did get. And we went to GP Vegas and we did the interviews, and you got to meet Mark Rosewater and
yes.
a number of the cosplayers, a bunch of new and young players. Met up with Dana Fisher, uh, and really, uh, I said we were doing these in chronological order. This is kind of chronological order because we did the Kickstarter early in the year, but then Wizards of the Coast decided to send Rhino, and of course a chaperone, which was me, to Loading Ready Run to do the Battle Bond pre-release. And he did that with Dana Fisher and and Daniel's dad, of course. So that was so neat. And, that was, of course, sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. But it was Loading Ready Run that, recognized that, hey, it'd be great to have these kids as
Yeah.
doing teamwork in this, and so it was an incredible experience going to the moon base and interacting with everyone there, and then of course GP Vegas was soon after that, uh, and just seeing that people were amazed that there were kids as young as them and as short as them, not short now, but as
Not
short
sure.
as them, playing Magic and actually playing it smart. And speaking of smart, our seventh uh, story, and I don't remember uh, which GP this was because we've gone to a bunch of them. We went to
Yeah, we went to a
we
lot.
yeah, we went to one in Richmond, Virginia. We went to one in Atlanta. Uh, I I think it might have been Atlanta. Uh, but
But anyways,
yeah, so
um,
let me tell you a little bit more about how Rhino plays at these GPs. Generally he does side events. Okay, and there was one side event. It was a sealed event, and so Rhino goes through and he builds his deck, and he's playing his first opponent, and he's teaching his opponent how to beat him
yeah,
during a tournament. But it's a side event. Okay, not that big of a deal. But it's really gives
it's
you a good
a
idea of you know Rhino isn't in it to not in it to win it. He's in it to
yeah. I'm not
teach it.
into it.
He likes winning.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. But
Won by accidentally, but
yeah, but there was a they were going to have like their biggest legacy tournament there, and I think they had like about 100 people signed up for it or something like that. And Rhino was talking to a fan of the channel, and he was telling them about how uh, we had just started playing Commander or we had been playing Commander for a little while, and we told them the story about how our Craterhoof Behemoth that we had turned out to be fake. And I know it wasn't a fake one when we started out. Someone had swapped it out, which was really, really not good. But we had been
Not,
going to a bunch
yeah.
of LGSs and things like that, and everybody wanted to see his deck. And so we don't know what happened to it. But then we also found out that in the legacy deck he made, he had a Goblin Guide in there. And I think you had two or three. I think it might have been three. And
Might have been.
uh,
Yeah, I was saying.
and we went through to take a look at it, and it looked like one of the cards wasn't real. And so I pulled it out. I took it to a judge, and they verified that it was not a real card. So we pulled it out, and we were going to put in just a regular mountain uh, in place of it. And we had been talking to a fan of the channel that we had told
Uh-huh.
him about that Craterhoof Behemoth story, and that we ran across this Goblin Guide that wasn't real. And he said, "Well, hang on a second." He went over to one of the vendors there, and he bought a Goblin Guide and handed it to Rhino and said, "Here." Well, we're very grateful for that. I wish I remember who it was. And
And
well, he got to put it in his deck, and he played in that legacy tournament, and he got third place. So,
so top
so
three. Woo!
yeah. So that was those are 7 stories. And I know they were pretty quick stories, but those are things that we look back on and think, wow, we're really grateful for this community because of how this community changes, how it has treated a new and young player, a person that has dyslexia. He also has seizures. How they
Yes.
uh, have really helped us out and made us feel welcome. One thing we'd like to do before you start clicking off uh, is ask you, put in the comments below, what are you grateful for within this magic community? And if you're just listening to the podcast, uh, if you want to find where we have this podcast posted on the youngmage.com website, you can comment there or find it on YouTube and put a comment there. We really love to
Yeah.
hear the positive influence of the community and the wonderful stories that people have. And we've gotten a lot of great stories from others in the past. So I think that's about all that we have.
So I have more videos incoming out soon. So until then, me,
And me.
I shuffle back into the library.
Bye.